Wait, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving headfirst into 24 hours in New York City, the city that never sleeps.
Mm.
We got these, well, fascinating excerpts from a travel piece. Someone actually tried to hit the very best of NYC in just one day. So our mission for you, our listener, is to really get the essence of this whirlwind tour. Pull out those key nuggets, maybe some surprising facts, so you get that aha moment about, one of the world's truly iconic cities.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating, I think, is how quickly a place like New York can leave such a strong impression, even in just 24 hours. Which kind of brings up a question, doesn't it? What actually makes it the city that never sleeps? It's just the constant motion, and how can someone truly capture that unforgettable feeling in such a short time?
Right.
Hitting icons like the Statue of Liberty, grabbing that famous dollar slice or food from a halal cart, walking the Brooklyn Bridge at golden hour, and then bam, you're in Times Square, the supposed center of the universe. How do you do all that?
That's exactly what our source tries to figure out. And building on that idea, that quick immersion, the article jumps right in. First stop, a quick ferry ride
Okay.
to see Lady Liberty herself.
It's pretty powerful, right? How quickly NYC just throws you into its iconic history, even if it's just a view from Battery Park, maybe.
Right. The statue sets a certain tone. It's this huge symbol, history, welcome, all that. But then what's really interesting is how the source pivots almost immediately from Grand Monument to, well, street food. He
Yeah.
talks about the dollar slice pizza, that foldable, super cheap, cheesy slice, a real NYC thing. And the halal carts, too, famous for chicken and rice. The smell is just part of the city soundscape, or smellscape, I guess. And these aren't just like budget options. The source really emphasizes their cultural touchstones. They define the city's everyday rhythm. Exactly. And that jump from the monument to the street food, I think that perfectly sums up the city's contrasts. It's really insightful. So after refueling, our traveler heads to the Brooklyn Bridge, at golden hour specifically. Described as peaceful, historic, offering truly breathtaking views of Manhattan. The source even mentions this moment, the sun hitting the skyscrapers, and the travelers just stopped. Had to just be for a few minutes. In a city famous for rushing. That kind of pause, that's a powerful observation, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Walking the bridge, then, it offers, reflection, a completely different view of everything. It's a shift from that intense street energy to something more, I don't know, serene, but still totally iconic. It really shows how these different paces make up New York's identity. Never sleeps doesn't mean never pauses. The energy just changes form.
And then, just like that, you're plunged right back in. Full sensory overload, Times Square. Our source calls it feeling like the center of the universe. That constant light and buzz, okay, maybe it's touristy, sure, but it's also called unforgettable, especially at night.
Huh.
All those massive neon signs, the performers. It's got this, electric feel.
And it's interesting how Times Square, despite being so commercial, is that never sleeps energy embodied. It's just this relentless point of light and activity nonstop. The source also sort of subtly includes an optional stop, like MoMA or maybe a Broadway show. And that's not just filler, I think. It's a nod towards something deeper, right?
Yeah.
It suggests that even in 24 hours, there's this awareness of NYC's cultural side beyond just the spectacle. It makes you think, can you really get a city without touching its art, its culture, even for a moment?
So what does this all mean for our deep dive today? We've seen New York painted as, well, chaotic, inspiring, full of these huge contrasts, and the source is pretty clear. 24 hours, not nearly enough to know the city, but, and this is key, it's just enough to fall in love. The pace, the iconic moments hitting you one after another, it makes it unforgettable, creates this immediate emotional connection.
Absolutely. This whirlwind trip really shows how these iconic places, they can actually live up to the hype, the reputation. It gets us thinking, what makes any city unforgettable? And how can even a really short visit spark something deeper? Which leads to maybe a final question for you to think about. If you had just those 24 hours, what's the one single aspect of New York's never sleep spirit you would absolutely need to experience to feel like you truly understood its magic?